guys know all about how Rando works, and you've seen this all before, so I won't go into any specific detail about anything. And our runners are off. All right, so first two items. As usual, one of them is going to be Morph Ball, the other one is up in the air. Now, in general, in terms of what I want to see here, and you guys feel free to just tell me what you'd like to see in terms of progress and items in this rando as well. To start out with, I'm always looking at something boring like energy tank or a reserve in the ceiling. And then something a little bit nicer like maybe charge and terminator, just to get the runners started, to get them hyped up. So that's my opinion, but I'm willing to hear yours as well. And we actually have plasma as the first item, which is amazing. The one that was so hard to get in the last rando is the first one that they pick up here. All right, so we already know what's coming up next. It's going to be Morph Ball on the ceiling. They need to do a little D-boost here. Lexo makes it look easy. Traviktox just having a little bit of trouble. He resets the room right away. So if you don't get that D-boost first try, that enemy kind of gets out of position and it's hard to redo it. So I don't blame him at all for resetting that room. Makes it a lot easier to get the D-boost. All right, Lexo's gonna go down here. He already has the power bombs from before, so he picks up missiles in addition to that. He probably does not want to go towards Green Hills, but he may see what's behind that area near the giant side hoppers. Not a bad place to check. It's a pretty quick item to get. Otherwise, he can just grab another item by going below the pitless room. And he does decide to get that, so we'll see if he can get supers here. Unfortunately, only missiles. Traviktox coming up right behind him. And I have a feeling Lexo is going to check below the pitless room here, just to make sure that he's not missing any supers. Makes quick work of those pirates. Traviktox coming up right behind him on the elevator, and there are the first supers of the game. So Lexo has 10 missiles, 5 supers, and 5 power bombs. That is a pretty healthy start, especially since he also has Plasma Beam, which can do a tremendous amount of damage to enemies. If he were to pick up Charge in the next few items, that would be huge. So we'll see what happens, but just something to keep in the back of your minds. Alright, so our runners can go to Gauntlet if they want to. It can be a little tricky to get up there, but it's not too bad as long as you've practiced it a bit. With 5 power bombs, it shouldn't be too hard to advance in the room and get over to that major item. And this will make it even easier now that Lexo has Space Jump. So I would think with Space Jump, he's definitely going to go up to Gauntlet. That's pretty much a freebie there. And I am dead wrong. Alright, so Lexo deciding not to take the Gauntlet route. Traviktox might do it, but I mean, the nice thing is the runners have options now. And nothing but a reserve tank in this room. So our first boring major item of the game, I suppose. Traviktox also deciding not to go to Gauntlet. Alright, interesting. Oh, that's right. Yeah, they couldn't make it out of Gauntlet with only 5 power bombs. Thank you for reminding me. Now I know. And if I was doing this rando, I would probably get stuck in there and feel ashamed of myself. Alright, so we have another set of power bombs below that area for Lexa to pick up when he comes back out if he wants them. Grabs another super pack. And 15 supers already, so he's at a pretty good amount. Traviktox just missing that that jump through the doorway, but perfectly fine. He gets the mock ball anyway. I don't think either of these runners will opt to get this reserve tank. Not too useful unless you want something extra for heated rooms, I suppose. So there is another set of missiles. He grabs the power bombs, and he's got a pretty good ammo count here. With 10 power bombs, he can do a lot. Now, the one thing is, if he can't find ice anywhere, he's going to want 15 for Turian eventually, but that's way in the future, so no worries about that quite yet. Alright, and he already has Space Jump, and he's about to pick up Screw Attack. That is a pretty nice duo of items to have. It's going to make Lower Norfair easy. It's actually going to make a lot of stuff easy. You can pretty much just go anywhere with this combo. If they find High Jump Boots and Varia soon, then... I mean, I don't know what to say. It's going to make things pretty simple. Alright, so Traviktox just pretty much keeping pace with Lexo right behind him. Lexo's going to head in the Big Pink where there are currently 2 major items he can check. He can check the one in the side hopper room on the right side over here, and he can also check the charge location. If neither of those items are speed booster, he will not be able to check waterway yet, and he'll have to come back, possibly, just in case that ends up being something like gravity or another important item. Alright, so at High Jump Boots, Lexo just jumps up in the doorway there, gets it first try, very nice. Traviktox doing the same thing. And it's simply an energy tank, but not a bad thing to get here because this is the first E-tank they've seen after a slew of really nice items, so not a bad pickup at all. Alright, so next up is the charge location. Lexo opting to get those supers. He's now at 20 and 25, and with the addition of 10 power bombs, he can comfortably go down the Lower Norfair if he finds Varia and possibly High Jump Boots, depending on you know, what he's comfortable with. But 20, 25, and 10 gives him more than enough ammo to kill Ridley. And that is another E-tank, of course very useful. Alright, so without Speed Booster, there is one thing that you cannot check in Wreck Ship, and that is the item above bowling. I believe both of these runners will probably go straight to Kraid, while stopping at X-Ray and Spazer on the way. So we have 4 more major items coming up here soon. Unless there's some kind of divergence, but I kind of doubt it with this current item layout. Alright, so Lexo going in to check X-Ray now. This room is a piece of cake now that he has both Space Jump and Screw Attack. Traviktox actually going up here. So this is interesting. I didn't really expect this. And there is Wave, which is another nice item to have. No charge yet, but can't complain about getting Wave Beam. Alright, so Traviktox will be able to check 3 major items, or he'll be able to check all the items in Wreck Ship, actually. All 4 of them. But he will only be able to get to 3 of them. So, if that 4th item happens to be something extremely useful, he may have to come back later for it. Yeah, the big thing about this choice in routing for Traviktox is he's maybe just hoping to find a gold mine in Wreck Ship, you know, I don't know, Varia and Gravity, and maybe Charge. I mean, I can't even imagine that combo of 3 items, but if he were to find that, it would be absolutely amazing. And Lexo following behind him. So both of these runners decide to take the path up to Wreck Ship. Not a bad move, it's just that one item that is going to be inaccessible to them. Yeah, so both of these runners only have 2 energy tanks. They have to be kind of careful with Fantoon here. Fantoon himself does a lot of damage, of course, and so do the Blue Flames. So the addition of the reserve is nice, especially if they have a full reserve tank, and I believe both of them at this point do have a full reserve. So still have to be kind of cautious, though. And Traviktox starting the Fantoon fight now. Lexo might pick up these supers. We get a mid pattern for Traviktox. Lexo making his way across the ocean. He'll meet up with Traviktox at the Fantoon fight shortly. We've switched over to Traviktox's audio. I think he got an extra shot or 2 in there on the Doppler. I'm not completely sure. Might be able to get a 3-round in here. Alright, so it looks like a 4-round for Traviktox. Hopefully Fantoon gives him a nice pattern here, but looks like it might be a mid. No. Sadly a slow for the 4th round. And he should be dead shortly, and he is. So Traviktox finishes off Fantoon, no problem at all. Never in any kind of bad range for energy, so that's pretty impressive. Lexo also getting a slow pattern here. And so Traviktox will check one of the first of the 4 major items in Wreck Ship. On the right side here, where there are usually supers, we're going to have something hopefully useful for our runners. I'm really hoping it's not a reserve tank again. Lexo finishing off Fantoon fairly quickly, so he will be right behind Traviktox. And it's an E-tank, which you can't really complain about. They still need to pick up a, you know, at least I would say at least 1 more E-tank to be fairly comfortable throughout the run. Alright, so Lexo will be getting that E-tank as well. Traviktox heading up. He might take the save here before he checks the item at the Wreck Ship E-tank. And he does. So if this item is trash, he'll just choose to reset, of course. Lexo grabbing that E-Tank. And with Screw Attack and Space Jump, this should be a fairly easy room. The whole thing is if you get caught below the water level, of course, it's going to get kind of sluggish, and you could get hit by the spikes pretty easily, but he makes it look easy. And of course, both of these runners just pretty much moving fast through these areas. They don't have to worry about the unintended or unwanted side effects of speed booster without high jump boots, because they don't have speed yet. Traviktox decides not to pick up that E-Tank, resets it instead. We'll see what Lexo decides to do. So Traviktox will go straight up into Attic. Both runners getting through Spiky Death Room, no issues at all, which is always very nice, because as we know, without any suits, those spikes do a ton of damage and can quickly chain damage as well if you get caught in a bad area. All right, so Traviktox can go down and check this item. Without Speed Booster, he kind of needs to, well, okay, all right. He doesn't check that item. So that'll just be a kind of like a fill-in-a-blank location. We don't know what's there yet, and he's not sure what's there either. So hopefully it's not something too important. Lexo decides not to get the E-Tank either, and is once again following closely behind Traviktox. All right, so a quick break here at bowling. I'd be interested to see if Lexo checks this location, just, out of curiosity to see what's there. And he does decide to. Okay, so the tough thing here is he doesn't have Spring Ball, he doesn't have bombs, so it's kind of tough to get over these blocks. You have to, kind of jump up like that. Which actually isn't too bad if you don't have oh, and it's just Spazer. So fortunately, Traviktox is not missing too much. But this jump here is a bit tougher. The jump that Lexo is doing is a bit tougher if you have high jump boots. And Traviktox pretty much hitting a gold mine here by picking up Varia. That's huge. So with his current layout, if he's not afraid to do high jumpless lava dive, he could go down in the low North Air. And I'm sure Lexo will be happy to see what's awaiting for him on the other side of bowling as well. Now, keep in mind that Traviktox has not checked Spazer yet, and he's not checked the 2 items in Kraid's warehouse. So we still have those 3, which could be something interesting. Could be gravity, could be charge, could be high jump boots, could be anything that allows us for easier advancement throughout this rando. True that Traviktox has not checked X-Ray, but we already know what's there. And it is Wave, which won't give him too much of an advantage, just kind of like a nice to have for opening gates and doing a little bit of extra damage. Wreck Ship Reserve was Spazer. Alright, so Lexo heading over Moat now. Now remember that Lexo does not need to check X-Ray, so these 2 runners are probably going to meet up very shortly. Traviktox grabbing the Wave Beam. And Lexo actually might pull ahead here. It does take a little bit of time to get out of here. Especially since Traviktox only has power bombs. He can't use spring ball to jump up, and he doesn't have bombs for bomb jumping either. All right, so runners are very close to each other right now. Lexo pulling ahead a bit after Traviktox finishes his foray into the X-ray room. And we will see shortly what is at Spazer. Simply reserve tank, so you see more of these pesky reserve tanks here. All right, so both players heading into warehouse. Traviktox opting to bomb that Meridia tube. Lexo opting to get those supers as well, and I have a feeling that in the back of Lexo's mind, he's just saying, well, I don't know when I'm going to find charge, so I might as well load up on ammo just in case. All right, so both players now in the crate fight at the exact same time. Nice synchronization here. Nice high five at Kraid. The Kraid quick kill, pretty simple in terms of how it works. Can be a little bit complicated in actual execution. Traviktox getting it, Lexo missing it. But basically, what both runners wanted to do there is just fire 2 missiles and then 3 supers. And Lexo still making quick work with Kraid, so no issue there. Alright, so we do get our 4th E-tank for both runners. Traviktox about to check the E-tank location here on this end of warehouse, and it is grapple, which could be good for 2 things. We haven't seen gravity yet, so it would be useful in Suitless Meridia if they have to do that. And additionally, down in Lower Norfair, if they need to do some farming for health or farming for supers or anything like that, always a good thing to have for farming, so not a bad pickup. And Traviktox is opting to go down into Business Center. So he can go check ice, he can go check high jump boots. He cannot take the back way to Krakemeyer because he does not have speed yet, but we may see a pickup of speed sometime soon. So both runners opting to check the ice beam location here. Something like gravity would be pretty huge at this point. And it's just bombs, but, you know, one of those nice-to-have things. No more worries about running out of power bombs or anything. Alright, so taking the upper exit. And we will probably see Traviktox go down to high jump boots. Afterwards, he can go into Bubble Mountain, or he can opt to go to the back way to Crocomire, which could also have a pretty nice item. We've actually seen Gravity a number of times at Croc, so I wouldn't think it would be unexpected to see it there. Simply another E-Tank at the high jump vanilla location, which is another nice pickup. And now with 5 E-Tanks, I think both of these runners are pretty comfortable. I'm not sure if they have 1 or 2 reserves, but either way, even 5 E-Tanks alone is a pretty good amount. So if they do need to go down into Lower Norfair soon, shouldn't be too much of an issue at all. Alright, so the only way they can get over the Bubble Mountain, of course, without Speed Booster is through these series of rooms. And then it's pretty much up in the air as far as what they want to do. They have 4 item locations to check. Sorry, 3 item locations to check here. The Vanilla Reserve Tank location, Speed Booster, and Wave. So Traviktox opting to go and check the Reserve Tank location first, Lexomatico following right behind him, and that is Charge Beam. So very close to go mode here. The runners pretty much just need to find Gravity and either Speed or Ice. Because without Speed or Ice, Meridia is going to pose a little bit of an issue. There's no easy way. Let me say, there's no easy way to get to Batoon without either of those two. Yes, of course, they still need Spring Ball as well. For the completionists out there, or the people that really think Spring Ball is the item that forces players into go mode, I will add that they do need Spring Ball. And simply another E-Tank for Traviktox here. Lexo is going to be picking up the same thing. So the question now... I'm guessing both runners will obviously go check Wave since they're already here. But will both runners actually go to Croc, or will one of these runners opt to do High Jumpless Lava Dive? I'd be interested to see what happens. If you've practiced High Jumpless Lava Dive enough, you're probably pretty confident in it. So it wouldn't be a bad thing to do to just go straight down to Lower Norfair and worry about Crocomire on the way back out. And there is Speed Booster. So one item away from go mode now. Kind of removes the need for Ice, and in general is going to be helpful, except for, of course, the lousy side effect of Speed plus the lack of high jump boots, which we all know reduces jump height and is just annoying in general. Alright, so Traviktox, we'll see which way he opts to go here. He is going to check Croc. So hopefully we find that Croc or the Vanilla Grapple location has Gravity, which would be pretty much the last item these two guys are looking for. Lexo, see what he decides. Same. So both runners are going to be going to Crocomire. Now keep in mind this Crocomire kill is extremely fast. They have charge and plasma, so one shot, and Crocomire basically backs away and dies a terrible death. And Lexo actually going up here. And there it is, Gravity. After Crocomire, which I swear to God, statistically it seems like Gravity is after Crocomire in so many of these seeds. But could just be the ones that I've watched recently. But yeah, that puts Traviktox in go mode, so he can go down to Lower Norfair, up to Batuan and Dragon after that, and then head into Turian. So Traviktox opting out in checking the grapple location. I don't blame him. It takes a while to get over there. If something like ice is there, or high jump boots, it would be nice, but in terms of just kind of, you know, making your way through this as fast as possible, I don't think it's worth checking. So he will be going down to Lower Norfair, and I don't think he'll have any problem progressing. He has more than enough E-tanks, he has Space Jump, he has Screw Attack. I'm guessing that Lexo will be doing the same thing, and basically just be going down to Lower Norfair now. Alright, so Lexo heading back out. Traviktox about to hit the elevator. He might do a save here. No, opts not to. Honestly, I don't blame him on that part either. Lower Norfair should be pretty easy. So in terms of routing, what both of these runners have done is very similar. We haven't seen many divergences. I think the only big one was when Lexo checked X-ray early. Besides that, these runners are basically on the same route. Now, the one location that they probably don't want to check at all is the attack room. That's just too far out of the way. It takes too much time. But, you know, in case one of them wants something like ice or high jump, there's always the fire flea location to check, and there's always the item after Ridley. And neither of those locations take too much time. The one after Ridley is really quick. So these runners may be picking up ice before this is over. Keep in mind, if they do not find ice, they probably want another power bomb, another 5 power bombs, just because they will need to power bomb the Metroids. You need 3 per room, and the chance of getting the proper drops from the Metroids in terms of extra power bombs is pretty low. So it's always nice to go into Turian with 15 if you do not have ice. Traviktox KOing through that platform, heading into the middle power, opting to do the Shine Spark method, which, if you've watched the PKRD route, is pretty much how they kill these pirates. Excuse me, PRKD, but yeah, the hybrid route would also have it. Alright, so Traviktox about to take down Ridley with Charge, Wave, and Plasma. I'm trying to remember, I believe it's 24 or 25 shots for Ridley. However, he does have supers, which he can just unload. And as we know, in terms of damage per second, if you can get Ridley into a pogo phase, you can pretty much take him down faster with supers. 24, okay. Thank you, Jigheart. Lexo's starting his fight now. He will probably just stick to supers if he can get rid of the Pogo. And it should be almost done for Lexo. Just needs a couple more, and I think Ridley's just about dead. So dead Ridley for both of these runners. Still right behind each other. This has been a really interesting considering how close these runners have stayed to each other. Lexo deciding to check this item, so we may have... No, and it's not Ice Beam. The extra tank will help him for stand-up if he wants to do it. So, not a bad pickup, but not a needed pickup. Alright, Traviktox almost getting caught there beneath the platform, but still is able to make it up. This can be tricky, this area right here. Because of the spikes on both sides, there's a number of ways you can get up. You can pretty much go straight up with space jump, or you can wall jump from side to side, as you see Lexo doing there. But if you do get hit by spikes, it can be a big time waste. Alright, so these rooms, which would be somewhat of a worry if these runners did not have screw attack or charge, are going to be very simple. You can see that Traviktox mainly just uses screw attack to get through the enemies, and charge plasma to kind of hitbox the enemies that pass through them. And the rest of the exit through Lower Norfair should be pretty easy. The one thing that they do not have that could, of course, make things easier is high jump boots, which Lexo may be finding here, and unfortunately it's just X-Ray. The good thing about picking up X-Ray here is he's going to make the Batoon fight and the Dragon fight faster. So that may help him, or it may be a burden due to the time that he's lost. I'm not really sure. I guess we'll see as the run progresses. All right, so Traviktox is going to